Did you get to see it, Wendy?
Yeah, I did. It was really good.
Okay, so that's just a tiny little clip from a really big video. And we talked a bit about this last week, but I want to talk about it a little bit more. So you've heard of cellular memory. Cells,
Hmm.
cells retain memory. We have habitual things, and we have cellular memory. That's part of the work I do with people that have chakras turned off. Like a cancer patient has a chakras turned off, and I turn them back on. Then he goes away and comes back, and they're off again. And we keep turning them back on until the cellular memory takes over and they stay on. Is the best way I can describe that to you. But with the little girl, so not only was she able to vividly describe the character that murdered the person she got the heart from, but there was a whole bunch of other things that happened with that little girl where, she became artistic in different categories than she was originally. Her diet and food cravings changed to incorporate the other little girl's things that she liked and didn't like.
Oh,
So there was all kinds of things that changed when she received that heart. And we were just discussing before you got back on that, we've been talking multiple times about how we think everything that we know is stored inside of our heads. And I'm saying that it is not. It's stored in the field around the body. And what is generating the field? The heart. Right? The heart generates the field. That electromagnetic field is powered by the electromagnet power of the heart. The brain contributes, yes, a little bit, but not even remotely as close as what the heart powers. Heart is powering everything. It's even powering the brain.
mhm.
And we know that there are neurons, brain cell neurons in the heart. So the heart has the ability to think and do complex things in very quick fashion, but it's also powering the heart and the stuff that gets stored there. So, a lot of the good science is leaning towards the brain just being a big transceiver and reducer. Like it's doing the sending and receiving, but via the heart, powered by the heart. So the reason that girl got everything from the other girl is because she received the heart, and all of the information that the other little girl knew and liked came with the heart.
So she was just receiving a different signal.
Well, she received the signal of the girl that died.
That's what I mean.
By incorporating
like
that heart.
Scientists, you know how science was originally saying that they thought the brain generated consciousness.
Yeah.
Now they've proved that the brain does not generate consciousness. It's coming from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And science technically says we don't know where it's coming from, but it's obviously
we kind of do.
The connection between the heart and the field.
Yeah. So I guess the big question that I want to know now is the little girl that received the heart and lost her own heart because it was replaced. How much of that little girl is missing?
That's what I was wondering.
That's immediately where my mind goes now.
Yeah.
So you still have the body of your daughter, but she has another heart. Is your daughter still in there? For the most part.
Would there be muscle memory?
See that's what I don't know. I know that.
Listen, you'd still have your memories, your personal memories. You'd still have those.
Well, that depends.
The girl that lost the heart would still have her personal memories, but she'd also download memories that she didn't understand from the other girl. She'd just have like a general knowing. It would almost be like you tapping into your past life and just knowing that you were somebody else.
So I think that the little girl that received the heart could retain most of herself because they would have kept her alive the whole time, right? Like she would have had to be kept alive. So
for sure.
Her field still would be alive. right? So I think they just got blended together. And I don't think that the first one can leave without dying first. Like cellular memory,
I
like
wonder if they compounded then.
yeah, that's what I believe, and I am curious about the science and how much they looked into that because,
Wonder how you Google that.
well, you actually got to go
It'd
to
be
the
hard.
science.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a good question for Greg Braden to find the answer to because he knows the right people to ask. But the body is covered in receptor cells that transmit and receive constantly, and that's part of what keeps the field generated full of information. So we know that water holds memory really well as well, and we're 70 or more percent water. So that is also playing a role. Yes, Ross?
Have you ever seen that video from Dr. Emoto with the water memory?
Yes, I have, and
You should send that to everybody for next week.
that's why I'm mentioning it.
The
Oh,
water
I
memory,
haven't seen that.
it's really cool. She like shows water certain words, and then the water
Mhm.
she shows the water. The water's in a petri dish that's glass. She puts the petri dish on top of the water with a word in it written on paper for like 2 seconds, takes it away and puts the dish in a freezer, and the water freezes an imprint of the word into it. And she would put weird words like schizophrenia, and it would make pictures of like a guy with 3 heads. Like it would self-interpret what it thought the word meant. It's wild.
Yeah. So
Unconscious.
the Japanese water studies, Rosalind Hashimoto,
Dr. Emoto,
they
not
were.
Hash.
I think his first name is Hashi, the man, the
Oh,
man.
okay.
The
Omoto is his last name.
Yeah, I think he did that study with his daughter. Might have been his wife. I can't remember. It was quite a while ago that I watched it, but
I have it saved on my phone.
they weren't just using words. They were
With thought too, yeah.
yeah, thought and emotion directed at it. And what they would do is
Oh, and not.
they would have a glass of water, and they would repeatedly express love to the glass of water, and then they would flash freeze it. And when you flash freeze it, water crystallizes and it displays a sacred geometry. And with all of the kind, loving things that you can direct at water, it would replicate that in the water when you flash froze it. But on the other hand, if you were sending anger and hate and all those things to it, that reflected in the water too, very dramatically when it was flash frozen. So water is retaining memory of not just the words we say, but just even emotion without any words. Like we're not actually saying words, we're just directing emotion at it. The water is picking up on the emotion, which leads me to another really good point when we realize that our bodies are more than 70% water and we are directing emotion at another person. We are affecting the geometry of the water inside that person. And that person, whether they are sensitive enough to feel it or not, it's actually happening. So there's a lot going on here that we never used to know that we know now that plays a role in how we feel, how healthy we are. And it's not just in our own hands, it's also in the hands of all the people that you're closest to and how they see you and how they react with you and how there's value in being a good person and not being one that everyone hates, because that's a lot to deal with for yourself when all of that energy is being directed at you. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
you'd feel horrible, I guess.
we really got to rethink everything that we thought we know. We're not as independent as we think we are. We're not as sovereign as we think we are. If we're going to be interacting with others, then we better be paying attention to how we conduct ourselves and how we might be being viewed and what those consequences may be that we had no idea of before, right?
That's funny because when we were graduating nursing school, they told us that.
What did they tell you, Wendy?
I don't think they were understanding exactly what you meant, but they said how you contact or how you present yourself is how other people will feel whether you're a good, caring person. Like,
Yeah, but they're talking
and
about, they're talking
and
about,
patients need to know that they're in
yeah,
the hands of someone that cares.
yeah.
So
And that makes
it's almost
sense.
like they almost got it.
Well, no, that's the external point where you're trying to make another person feel comfortable. You're trying to make another person see that you are confident and knowledgeable, and whether you are or not, they want you to present yourself that way, right?
Mhm.
But that's not exactly what we're talking about. What we're talking
Oh
about,
no, eh?
what we're
Okay.
talking about is that you can be affected on the inside by how someone feels about you in a pretty more dramatic way than we ever thought possible before now because of the science.
Because your
Sure,
body's full of water,
because your body's
and when
full of water
you speak
and
to the water, your water is changing shape. It's
that's
taking
right.
on